Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to the people of Bermuda. With today's gentle breezes and sunny skies, it hardly seems possible that just hours ago we were being battered by wind and waves. The sun rose this morning on a Bermuda that by and large fared well against the latest tests that 2020 has brought us. While I know that a considerable number of people remain without power, Belco's workers returned electricity to over 20,000 customers since the end of storm force winds. This is a remarkable achievement, and I have already expressed my thanks on behalf of the people of Bermuda to those men and women at Belco. This morning, I was able to get out in the community to personally thank the men and women of the Royal Bermuda Regiment who assisted in the efforts of clearing our road from debris. Effort has helped Bermuda get back on its feet. It is a source of some considerable pride in our island that less than 24 hours after a hurricane warning was dropped in our country, our main roads are clear, the airport is open, transport and other public services will resume tomorrow, and our children will shortly be returning to school. This speaks to our preparation, our leadership at various levels in this crisis, and the overarching desire of the people of Bermuda to always get to work. As the cleanup continues and we return to a normal sense of operations, I encourage everyone to remember that the necessary safety precautions that COVID-19 requires of us and our interactions with one another. Safety first. With or without COVID, the practice of looking out for our seniors and the most vulnerable in this community must continue. We can safely check on them and ensure that their immediate needs are addressed. As I turn over this press conference to the Minister of National Security, I wish to reiterate the thanks I expressed yesterday to all agencies coordinated in the effort to restore Bermuda. Their work, under the leadership of Minister Ming, often to the exclusion of the needs of their own families, is invaluable in achieving the incredible results we have seen in such a short time. Thank you. Minister Ming.
Good afternoon, Bermuda. I feel like I can smile up here with you today. I'm pleased to share that we are making remarkable progress with our post-hurricane restoration efforts. I wish to echo the Premier's comments about the phenomenal work being done by the Belco crews to restore power to residents. At one point, Hurricane Paulette left over 25,000 customers without power on Monday. However, overnight, several thousand households and businesses regained electricity, and that is a testament to the hard work being done by the dedicated men and women at Belco. As at their last report, Belco reported that there are around 4,750 customers without power, and we're hopeful that that number will become even less by the end of today. As it relates to the resumption of services such as public transport, schools, and government offices, here is what I can share. The Royal Bermuda Regiment, parks, and public works crews have made great progress today, clearing debris from the main roads, and traffic is flowing fairly unhindered. Government offices will open tomorrow morning. As it relates to public schools, I can advise that all public schools will be closed tomorrow, Wednesday, September 16th, for students only. Again, for students only. All public schools will remain closed tomorrow. However, tomorrow, all school staff are expected to report to school. The public bus service will resume normal operations tomorrow morning, and the school bus service will start on Thursday as public schools reopen. All ferry service will resume tomorrow. The L.F. Wade International Airport is open and receiving flights. Regarding the COVID-19 testing, I can advise that the Perot Station facility opened at 10 a.m. this morning to recommence testing for travelers. Travelers have been sent communication to advise them of their new testing times today and for the remainder of this week. If travelers are unable to receive emails at this time, they can contact the call center at 2498, and someone will provide them with their revised scheduled time for testing. Reviews are still being conducted to determine if the population testing sites will recommence on Wednesday, September the 16th. Notifications will be sent out accordingly. Trash collection will resume its normal schedule tomorrow. And lastly, it is expected that the Royal Bermuda Regiment will end its embodiment this evening. So, by all accounts, Bermuda, thanks to the assistance of our partner agencies, Bermuda is back up and running in record time following Hurricane Paulette. As the Minister of National Security, I wish to publicly thank all of these hard-working individuals who in some cases were away from their family during the hurricane to ensure that Bermuda was kept safe. Finally, switching gears a bit, I know that there's been considerable chatter in the community regarding Tropical Storm Teddy, which is approximately 1,500 nautical miles southeast of Bermuda. Much uncertainty remains, and it's too early to make any predictions about the long-term track of Tropical Storm Teddy. But the Bermuda Weather Service will continue to monitor this storm for future developments, and we will update the public as always. Thank you, and thank you, Bermuda.
Happy to answer any questions that members of the media may have at this time.
Jonathan?
Afternoon, folks. Thanks for having us. Just one sec. Oh yeah, to start with, Minister Ming, it looked like at the start of the storm that the East End was taking the brunt of it. Can you, I guess, speak to how things fared at the East? It looked like there was the heaviest easterly winds were hitting St. George's there.
It was kind of windy in St. George's and quite early, so you are right about that, Mr. Bull. But we have fared well. We do have some damage, but St. George's will be okay.
I've never seen the lights come back so fast. I know it's a question more for Belco, but I guess how did we get all this done so quickly?
Well, I think that's a testimony to the good work that Belco is actually doing. We at the EMO have expressed to them that we were impressed with the record timing of the lights being put on. So we have definitely given thanks to them as they continue to work to get everyone's lights on.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. Premier, we had the call from Mr. Bean just before the storm about the potential postponement of the election. Now we're looking at, apparently it's the busiest time in the Atlantic in 50 years for storms. I guess, can you talk us through, is there any thought to potentially postponing it? And to piggyback on that, it would just be interesting to hear, in the event that there were a storm on the actual day of the election, what the protocol would be for that.
The Parliamentary Election Act allows that the governor, if the governor feels that there is a need to postpone the election, to do such. We do not believe that there's any need for the postponement. And I think what this hurricane and also the pandemic has showed us is that Bermuda works best when we work together and we come across party lines to make sure that we take care of the divisions inside of our society. The last thing which I need that the country, what I believe that the country needs, is prolonged division. I think that the country wants us to come together to make a decision and to get on with the job at hand. So my view remains the same, that if there was any thought that a fair election could not be held, the governor would act in his discretion. But I believe that at this point in time, advanced polling is going to commence tomorrow. There'll be 3 days of advanced polling. Things are up and running. We'll be back to normal as much as possible over the next few days, and the work is never easy. And what you have to do in leadership, you have to take things as they come. And that's what this government has done, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Thanks, sir. I guess the last one for me would be for either or both of you. BWS, the radar, I mean, we had some great news from the National Hurricane Center that they're actually using our imagery for the first time, which was amazing. And then the radar went down, which can happen, I guess. It seems like it's fairly new equipment. Do we know what went wrong and when we'll have it back up and running? Because, you know, folks seem to be checking it more than ever these days through the internet.
You want me to speak to that? I can speak to that. And it was one of the things, we started our preliminary discussions this morning on things that we need to make sure that we tighten up. And one of the challenges is that Bermuda Weather Service, the radar did not go down. What went down was their external internet connectivity, so they weren't able to get the images out or to make the updates to their website. So the radar went down, so they were able to send images by phone, and then those images were able to be shared by DCI and others on the latest radar positions. So the radar itself did not go down, and that still assisted them in the communications, because I think they were holding hourly calls
That's right.
with the with the United States National Hurricane Center. But there's a few things that certainly we need to tidy up on. Not everything is perfect. There were some communications issues that occurred during the storm, but we're going to make sure that we tidy those up, so the next time around that they will be less and more refined.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Premier. I'm sure you saw some of the videos that ran around prior to the storm, especially two individuals that were down on the North Shore side, jumping over in those undercurrents. What might you say to those daredevils that will risk their lives in such ignorant behavior?
Minister, you want to handle that?
I think, Trevor, a lot of what we said leading up to the hurricane was to exercise caution and common sense. I don't think I could have said it any different than that. And I think what those individuals may not have realized is that if they had gotten into some form of trouble, then one of our essential workers teams, whether they be police or regiment or someone, would have had to come out and save those persons, because that's what they do. And so it would have been unfortunate to put them in such a position to have to come out and save, and possibly have had some negative consequences themselves for an act that clearly did not have common sense with it. So hopefully, as we move forward, we can continue to stress to the public that when we are in these conditions, that we must exercise caution and we must exercise common sense, because it's not only for our good, but it's for someone else. Because I would have hated to have had to speak to two families on such a silly incident, and had some, bad news. So I'm hopeful that as we move forward, caution and common sense become our key drivers when we are in situations like that.
My last question, Premier, this question is for you. Three of your members, without contesting for their seats, they won. What does that say to you, that there's been no challenge from the opposition or even the new party that gives three of your members a bye?
I would say that it would reflect the general sense in the country that persons in certain areas are pleased with the leadership of the Progressive Labour Party. And we're just going to continue to work for every single vote. This is about, as I said, this election is about leadership. It's about the mettle which is necessary for Bermuda to move forward, to rebuild our economy in difficult economic times, to make sure that we build our economy to work for all, but also to manage crises as they come. And so I congratulate those three persons who were elected, and they are going to continue to serve their constituents as they already have been, making sure to check in with them. I heard from the Minister of Transport who lives in his neighborhood and who was out making sure that he takes care of his neighbors and constituents, handing out water and making sure those without power are looked after. That's what the job of leadership is about. That is what we have done, and that is what we will continue to do.
All systems are go for the election now that this hurricane is behind us. Tomorrow is advanced polling starting. Any last words you might want to say?
This is a Government of Bermuda press conference, not a political press conference. I said my words at a political press conference on Friday regarding that. My only thing I'll say on a nonpartisan basis is I would hope that everyone would take the opportunity to express themselves to vote. We have extended the advanced polling. There will be, unfortunately, we're supposed to be 5 days. Now there will be 3 days, but it'll be available in 4 locations throughout the island. And all persons who are traveling, or all persons that are age 65 and over, can avail themselves of the advanced polling. And I would encourage them to take advantage of the opportunity.
Thank you, members of the media. That concludes today's press briefing. We thank you very much for joining us today.